to this week's edition of It's Good to Have Goals. Welcome to our new studio. I'm Bob. That's Ryan. Ryan, what do we got this week?
This week we've got the same thing we always have. We're going to give our take, my take mostly, on Europe's most noteworthy matches. We use noteworthy a lot in the slide, you'll see. We will cover 3 to 5 games individually. It's starting to really look like 4 every week is going to be the number. We have our 5th game segment, which is other bits and pieces from throughout European soccer, South American soccer, North American soccer, any other soccer in the world that we want to touch on briefly. We have our news segment, which is going to be noteworthy stuff. There's that word noteworthy again. Again, it's key things we want to touch up on. And then lastly, we are going to preview our 4 games for next week. There's 2 of us. I am Ryan, that's Bob, or Dad, whatever you want to call him. He's the Fairweather fan, supports Atletico Madrid, Leeds United, Phoenix Rising. Atletico Madrid was back this week in action. I'm the real fan. I support Sheffield United, Atlanta United, Athletic Bilbao, who they were back in action this week. They played each other, Atletico Madrid and Athletic Bilbao.
Won?
It was a tie, 1-1.
Or a draw.
Draw, tie, same thing.
Our show is sponsored by Gigi's Bread. Remember, this month's bread of the month is the wonderful jalapeno cheddar. Please order online. We'd love to have your support.
This week we're going to be reviewing the weekend of German and Spanish football, plus a view towards the return of England's top flight next week, otherwise known as the Premier League.
Premier League, nice.
Everyone's favorite, I guess. This week's games, we're going to have Hoffenheim and RB Leipzig.
Red Bull.
Granada and Getafe, who last week we said that was going to be the boring game of the week. Sevilla and Real Betis. The Seville derby. And our game of the week, Bayern Munich, league leaders in the Bundesliga, versus Borussia Mönchengladbach. It's a lot of syllables.
See.
And first up, we've got Hoffenheim and Leipzig.
All right, so who did I take in this game last week?
You took a draw, I think, and I took a win. And I picked up a single point, for a 2-0 Leipzig win. You picked up no points for that one. But this was a game that Hoffenheim really should have gotten a point out of. Deserved to maybe even win.
Really?
Leipzig were absolutely dominated for the first 8 minutes of the game. And then out of nowhere, Dani Olmo, my man of the match, a Spanish attacking midfielder, gets the ball in and around the box after a good win of possession for Leipzig. They transition very well into the attacking third. That's what they do really well. They win the ball and they go forward.
The attacking third?
Yeah, the scoring area, so to speak.
Ah, right.
They get the ball to their right back, Nordi Mukiele, who's French, I believe. Could be somewhere in Western Africa. But he gets the ball on the right wing, plays a good ball into Olmo. Olmo goes near post and makes it 1-0. That was in the 9th minute. 2 minutes later.
Fast start.
2 minutes later, and this is after having been dominated for most of the first 10 or so minutes. 2 minutes later, Olmo gets his second, puts the same exact ball in, same exact shot into the same exact corner, and it's 2-0 just like that. And then that was in the 11th minute. The remaining 80 minutes was almost all Hoffenheim.
Hoffenheim played them tough, just never could get the
so
ball.
You could say 85 of the 95 minutes of this game was Hoffenheim deserved to be the winner. And just for 10 minutes, they switched off.
And where do these two teams stand on the table again?
Leipzig is currently 3rd now. After this win, they started in 3rd. They're now in 3rd. Hoffenheim are 7th. This is a big hit for them. They were a team that was looking to create or get into the Europa League, which is not the league below the Champions League. So finish in that 6th spot. They'll stay in 7th. Everyone around them lost. It was a big week for teams around the relegations or the middle of the table to lose.
Yeah.
So
well, we've got a lot to get to today. What else in this game struck your fancy?
Not much. Olmo, again, man of the match. He's after a slow start, having moved in January to Leipzig, he's starting to pick up his form and he's starting to justify his price tag when he arrived.
What kind of price tag was it?
I think it was in the 20 million area, 20 million, 30 million range. He's a guy who I would look 2 or 3 years down the road after he's fully developed at Leipzig to move on to a Real Madrid or a Barcelona or a big club in Europe.
All right, next.
Granada and Getafe.
Granada. So I took Getafe with a 1-0 win.
We both took Getafe with a 1-0 win.
And what was the score?
And we got a Granada win 2-1. And Getafe led this game 1-0. David Timor scoring in the 20th minute, I think, for Getafe. It was a really well-taken goal from Timor on a counterattack from Getafe. Granada responded slowly, but when they got their goal, there was a 10-minute period from the 70th minute to the 80th minute where Carlos Fernandez, who was my man of the match for Granada on the day, took over the game, grabbed. I think he grabbed
What
both
number is
goals.
he? What position?
He's a winger slash midfielder, somewhere in there. But big win for Granada. This win single-handedly kind of gives them a chance to maybe sneak into the Champions League. They're 5 points out.
How many games left?
10 in Spain still.
Oh, wow.
But
wow.
Granada are a team that's not really looking to be a Champions League team. They're probably pretty satisfied with where they are in ninth at the moment. For Getafe, big loss for them. A team that was in fourth. Not that big of a loss, considering Sociedad. Sociedad either won or draw today. I can't remember exactly. I think in the PowerPoint I wrote down they won. They might have taken a point, but they won on Tuesday to go into fourth anyway. So they're now a point behind Sociedad for fourth, and they're a point ahead of Atletico Madrid for fifth. So for Getafe, Champions League football is still very much an option.
Fantastic.
That'll be a good thing to look out for.
Anything else on this game we need to bring up?
Not really. Again, Getafe, wonderful story. I hope they make the Champions League just for the sake of.
When was the last time they were in the Champions League?
Never really.
Wow.
Never, probably.
Well, I'm rooting for both of these teams, so let's see where they take it. All right, next match.
We've got Sevilla and Real Betis, the Seville derby. I took a 2-0 win. You were a little
Sevilla
less.
1-0.
You were a little less bold there.
And is that how you spell Jerome Bettis' last name?
I think it's 2 T's. I got 3 points. The first 3-pointer in the second week of scoring, and it was 2-0. And Sevilla dominated this game mostly. Betis, no real chances, and that's a lot of times what you'll see with Sevilla. Julian Lopetegui, their manager, likes to set up his teams to nullify or neutralize the opposition, and they do a really good job of canceling other teams out, and they did exactly that against Betis.
When was the first goal? What minute was the first goal scored?
First goal came in the second half.
Oh, really?
A penalty.
Tight first half?
A penalty won by Luke de Jong, their center back, taken by Lucas Ocampos, the Argentine, who was my man of the match. He would get an assist later, a really nice assist flick.
What position was your man of the match?
Ocampos is a winger. Winger, he likes to get creative and kind of move the ball into the attacking third. Sevilla, not a lot of real chances in this game, either side, but Sevilla took theirs, and they stay third, which is currently they're currently well ahead of fourth and fifth. They are probably going to be back in the Champions League next year, having taken a year out. Taken a year off.
Anything else in this game we need to touch up on?
No, Betis, a down year for them, a team that's usually in the 7-8 range. To finish 12th isn't exactly what they're looking for. And
how many teams are in this league?
20.
20?
So 12 out of 20. It's not.
Do they relegate?
3. 17, 18, 19, 20. 17 is survival. So Betis aren't really in a relegation battle. They're status quo the rest of the year.
They got a lot of games left. They're ready to go.
Exactly.
Sounds good. Next match. München and something Gladbach.
Borussia Mönchengladbach. So
See,
both have
I got that one right the first time.
3-0 and 2-0 were our predictions. I said 3.
All right.
You said 2.
And
we got a 2-1 win. So, and Gladbach...
so we split that?
No. Well, technically, yeah, we each get a point. Sorry. Split. I was like, what? We don't get half a point? No. For Bayern, poor game from Bayern.
I think I saw this game. Didn't Bayern score like in like the
85th
minute? Yeah.
Poor game from Bayern, but
they found a way
shows
to
a
win.
true sign of a title winner. This will be their 8th straight title when they beat Werder Bremen midweek to claim the title.
Your man of the match?
Leon Goretzka,
Position?
who's the player, who's the center midfielder who scored the final goal. If not Goretzka, I really like what Joshua Zirkzee, who scored the opening goal for Bayern, did up top. A striker, a young 19-year-old. He's got a bright future ahead of him, in my opinion.
Did he start the game, or did he come in like
he did start the game.
a 19-year-old starter?
Lewandowski and Muller both suspended for this one. They needed to go to their bench, and that's probably why Bayern played a little subpar to their standards. But Gladbach also, this game could have been different. Gladbach missing their leading goal scorer, Alassane Plea, and Marcus Thuram, their second leading goal scorer, limped off around the 20th minute with an injury. It could have been different for them if they had both of their key attackers there. Other than that, though, Bayern, really a basic result for them. Poor game, but they still held out the win.
Found a way to win.
Gladbach remain 4th. I think they started the week 4th. I think they stay 5th. I think they dropped to 5th now, with Leverkusen getting a point
Can anybody catch Munchen, or is it over?
It's pretty much over. Dortmund, as you'll see later, win to kind of keep pace, only 7 points off with 3 games to go. So mathematically still in it, but theoretically not a chance they stay in it.
Slim to none, Slim's uptown.
So Bayern will win their 8th straight title. Gladbach still have a chance at Champions League. On the outside looking in, though, from here on out.
Anything else on this game?
I don't think so.
Next.
So these are our prediction standings. As you can see, week 1 last week, I picked up a point.
All right.
You picked up 2, so you had the lead last week. This week,
down 3 points.
This week I picked up 5, 2 points. Your math is off.
Oh, I thought it was.
Sorry,
It was
yeah, we're
cumulative.
adding them. Yeah, it's cumulative. I don't know. So it's 6 points for me.
All right. Well, I got my work cut out. I think this week's predictions, I'm coming from worst to first. So.
And we'll touch
your goal of the week.
Yeah, we'll touch really quickly here on our goal of the week. This is the full highlight package. But here's the first goal. Angel Molina picks up the ball here. Does well to beat his man.
Oh my God.
Good initial save.
Oh.
And then this is good pass there.
Oh.
And he finds the top corner. Again,
Man,
a well-taken finish. Timor, who doesn't play a lot, but when he does play, he seems to score quite a bit. And that came off the counter. Getafe won the ball.
That's fantastic. Very nice. Good choice. Very nice.
So next we've got our 5th game.
All right, our 5th game. Who'd you pick for this?
A bunch of different games. So the last few weeks, all we've had is Bundesliga, so that's really all we've been able to put in here. This week we get to open with Spain, and Barcelona and Real Madrid both win easily, I would say, to stay together in the La Liga title race. Barcelona on 61 points, and Real Madrid on 59. So that's a real neck and neck battle there. That's going to go down to the
How
wire.
they get to 59 points? Is that how many goals they scored?
No, it's wins. 3 points for a win, 1 point for a
Yeah.
tie. So that's cumulative. Barcelona, same thing. They both win, status quo really there. Espanyol win to keep their quest to survive relegation alive. Espanyol dead last in 20th. The team who's usually...
What team is Espanyol from?
They're Barcelona's big rival from Catalonia.
Oh, Catalonia.
But they're usually a team that's in the 8 to 12 range, kind of where Betis normally
Is
are.
that my Atletico team?
Yeah, on the bottom, yes.
Okay.
But Espanyol sitting in 20th, really terrible season for them. The break I think the coronavirus break couldn't have come at a better time for them. They get a chance to regroup. And they have 10 games now to push on and hopefully survive. It's going to be a tough battle, but I think they have a chance of doing it. Atletico, draw with Athletic Bilbao. They're on the outside looking in for Champions League, which for a squad of their caliber is not good enough. And if they don't make Champions League, you could see a lot of players leave the club.
You like the coach, or you want to fire the coach?
The coach has to stay for me. Simeone's done a very good job there.
This is unusual. You normally like to fire like every coach every time I talk to you.
The last 2 weeks I've actually tried.
Yeah, you've been supporting all.
And then Sociedad win Tuesday, and
Sociedad, where are they from?
They're from the Basque, just like Bilbao. They're Bilbao's big rival. I wrote they win Sunday. We're taping this before the finish of the Sociedad Osasuna game, but they'll be in 4th place either way, based on goal differential, points, whatever, draw. For them, they play some of the best soccer in Europe. And it'd be fun and exciting to see a young team like Sociedad back in the Champions League next season.
All right.
We'll keep going with our 5th game into Germany, where Bremen destroyed Paderborn 5-1. Safety continuing to look more and more likely for them. A team who's in 18th most of the year has sort of come out of this coronavirus break, really playing good soccer, playing good football, deserving to win games, deserving to earn points. They're now in 17th, tied with Dusseldorf in 16th, and only 1 goal off. I would expect Werder Bremen to survive, at least to that 16th spot.
All right.
Dortmund struggle, but still win to keep pace with Bayern. We already talked about that. It's not likely there. As for Dusseldorf, we just talked about them too. They look like they're going to be the relegation team. Their form doesn't really bode well for them.
All right.
Leverkusen draw with Schalke to control 4th place. We talked about that earlier with Borussia Mönchengladbach dropping off to 5th, only 1 point off though. Schalke winless now in 13 games, a club record.
Ouch.
And then we'll go to Italy for the first time in show's history, with Juventus and Napoli advancing to the Coppa Italia final.
Who's the big player for Juventus again?
Ronaldo. But they both advanced, beating the Milan, sneaking past the Inter Milan and AC Milan. Napoli beating Inter Milan. Juve beating AC Milan. No league yet in Italy. They're going to be the latest league to start, but this is the first games we're going to get back in Italy. So that's a good sign.
France is still...
France is not happening. Nope.
Okay. All right.
And now we got our news.
What's the news of the week?
News is obviously, we've talked about this before, hirings, firings, problems, transfers, anything like that. Mostly transfers next time of year. PSG confirmed the exit of 33-year-old Edison Cavani and 35-year-old Thiago Silva.
Wow.
For Cavani, I think you're looking at either Atletico Madrid or Newcastle if the takeover goes through. Newcastle, as we will talk about here, are looking to be taken over by essentially the country of Saudi Arabia and become the richest club in the world. Cavani, I think he's going to go to Newcastle if the takeover completes. As for Thiago Silva, you're probably looking at somewhere in England, Arsenal, Wolves, Chelsea, or he goes to Italy. My pick, which is my pick for him, AC Milan would be the club he goes to. Jadon Sancho could stay at Dortmund, linked heavily with a £100 million plus move to Manchester United. The coronavirus has left a couple teams financially troubled. Maybe United don't have the type of funds to pull it off. He could stay another year at Dortmund, which would be a shame for a lot of big clubs needing a player of his caliber, but big for him and his development because Dortmund can continue to help him ascend to the top of the game.
How old is he?
He's 19, 20, still young.
Kid. Wow.
And then Jude Bellingham, we'll talk about an even younger kid. Jude Bellingham, 16 years old, has been really good. He's younger than I am now. That's kind of a shame. But
Bit of disappointment for you in your soccer career.
a tad, yeah. But he currently plays for Birmingham City in the Championship. He's played a lot this year, been a key player for them. Linked with Manchester United on a £20-30 million move for a 16-year-old to be worth £30 million.
I don't see Dortmund picking him up. Doesn't Dortmund normally develop a lot of
They
young
do.
players?
The idea is the idea for Dortmund here is to make a profit. If you buy him for $30 million, the idea is you can sell him for $90 million. So that's a good business model to have there.
Buy low, sell high. I like it.
But they're not really buying low in this case.
So
They're
the
selling.
Barcelona, who's Fabian?
Fabian Luzzi is Vallecano's second division player. Hasn't played much for the first team this year. I'll be honest, I don't know much about him. He's a winger / forward who gets a lot of goals for the Vallecano youth teams. Barcelona beat Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid to the signing of him. It's not really an important deal in terms of immediate impact. He's probably going to settle down in the second teams of Barcelona for a while. But it's important symbolic signing for Barcelona to be able to flex their financial muscle following the coronavirus pandemic, to beat Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid and still be able to sign a player of his caliber for free and give him more money than these two.
Sign him for free.
Sign him for free is in the contract. They're having to pay his contract.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if he's for free or not.
All right.
He's a young player. He'll go right to the B team. No big news for now there. It's just a financial muscle flex.
All right. Anything else in the news this week?
No, next week. Now we've got our
All
predictions.
right. Let's go to next week, where I will dominate. Tottenham. I think I took Tottenham in this game. I think I'm going for the upset this week.
So we did. I think you did take Tottenham. You took them 1-0. I took them 2-1, as you can see. I took Man United 2-1 here. I'm really interested to see Man United with Bruno Fernandes, who signed in January, came into United right away, took a team that struggled to beat lower teams in the table. Man United this year have been fantastic in beating the Man Cities, the Chelseas, the Liverpools of the world. But they've really struggled to beat the teams in the 15, 16, 17 kind of range. Fernandes came in and has instantly helped them to get over that hump, so to speak. And he did all this without Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba is going to return to the lineup. I'm interested to see if Pogba hinders Fernandes in his attacking output or even further jumps his attacking output.
And
there.
where are these two teams on the table?
United is 5th, Spurs are 8th, and you've taken Spurs 1-0 here, as you can see. So if you're supporting Spurs here, you're really looking for Jose Mourinho to bunker down, get the result. The 1-0 result is probably the most likely result for Spurs. Harry Kane returning to the lineup.
Harry Kane.
Yeah.
I love Harry Kane.
You're probably looking for him to get a goal to win this game. Nothing much here. United, if they win, they're looking to tighten their grip on that 5th place spot, which could be a Champions League spot, depending on how Man City's financial fair play trial goes.
All right. I'm looking forward to that game right there. Barcelona and Sevilla. Something tells me I took Sevilla. Let's see.
So I took Barcelona 3-1. You took Sevilla 1-0, and would you care to elaborate why you took Sevilla 1-0?
I went to Sevilla on my honeymoon.
So you've got no real tactical knowledge here on that. You're just taking Sevilla for kicks. Okay.
Never been to Barcelona.
But I've got Barcelona 3-1.
Where are these two teams on the table?
1st and 3rd.
Ooh, this will be a tight one then.
It'll be a tight one, but
Playing
not really a tight
Barcelona.
one. It'll be a tight one, but not really a tight one in Barcelona.
Fireworks. Oh, really? You think then?
I think the key for Barcelona is one name, Lionel Messi. If you've got Lionel Messi, you're the favorite in any game you play in. So for Sevilla, it's more of a see if you can survive, see if you can do what you did against Betis, and try and nullify Barcelona's attack. It's so hard to do with Messi, Ansu Fati, Griezmann, Suarez, Frankie de Jong. They've got so many great players going forward.
Who's Sevilla got?
They've got Lucas Ocampos. Who's my man of the match, but he's nowhere near the quality of Barcelona.
All right.
So it'll be a tough game for Sevilla. If they get the result, though, massive result for not only Sevilla, but for Real Madrid, too, later on.
Fantastic.
That is only if Real Madrid can beat Real Sociedad, who...
probably took Madrid.
I've got 2-0 Real.
Fantastic.
You took a draw.
That'll be a tough one.
I think. But the draw, 1-1. You've taken Sociedad. I think you're kind of testing Sociedad to maybe get a surprise result there.
Where are they on the table?
4th, actually.
Ooh,
so they're in Champions League place. Real Madrid, I'm taking them. I think
I kind of like their logo. It's like a little soccer ball with a crown wrapped around a flag.
That's exactly what it is. Not kind of like what it is. But Real Madrid 2-0. The battle of the two royal clubs. They both have the same exact crown on it, actually, if you look at the picture.
Oh, yeah.
But Real Madrid, I've got 2-0. I think if you're supporting Real Madrid here, you're looking...
Who is your prediction for the man of the match in this game?
For the man of the match.
Who's in position to...
I think you're looking at one of the defenders, Sergio Ramos, to really dominate and clean it up. Rafael Varane, another center back for Real Madrid, to clean up the back. In the midfield, Casemiro, again, a holding midfielder, to kind of clean up the back and neutralize Sociedad's possession game. One of those three will probably play a big part in the game. Other than that, you're looking at Eden Hazard, the winger, signed from Chelsea for $90 million plus, has really not had a great time at Real Madrid in his first year. This last week, he had a very good week. It's probably his first good week in a long time.
All right.
You're looking for him to keep his form. For Sociedad, Martin Odegaard, best player in the world, without a doubt. Martin Odegaard is fantastic.
Best player in the world.
He's not actually the best player in the world. But everything Martin Odegaard does, you'll never hear about it. But if you know what you're looking for,
What position is he?
he's a midfielder.
Midfielder.
If you know what you're looking for when you watch soccer, Martin Odegaard is exactly the player any team in the world would want. Passes well, defends well.
How old?
Very good vision. 22, 23.
Oh.
He's had a long time coming after being the gem of the Real Madrid Academy for so long. He's at Sociedad now on loan from Real Madrid. So he's trying to show his parent club he can slot right into their first team.
All right. What do we got next?
Next, we've got our game of the week. Everton, 12th in the table, versus Liverpool, the league leaders by a country mile. And so it's not the game of the week at all for the level of competition. Liverpool, as I've predicted, and I'm pretty sure as you've predicted, 2-0. Oh, I went too far.
Well,
we'll keep talking about it.
we know that Liverpool is going to smoke them. It should be just like that.
Yeah.
A fast game. It'll be over and done before you know it.
It'll be a shorter game.
Liverpool.
It'll be a shorter game than that PowerPoint slide was.
Fantastic.
I guess we'll keep talking about it here real quick. Liverpool, chance to win the title at Everton. Could be a lot of controversy there if Liverpool pull
They
it
can
off.
shore up the whole thing.
Yeah, pretty much, with a lot of games to go. They need a little bit of help elsewhere, but it's very likely if they win and City lose.
Does Liverpool win every year?
No, this is the first time Liverpool will have ever won the Premier League.
It's pretty good for me.
Yeah, it's very good actually.
All right. Anything we need to catch up on the show? Anything ready for next week?
Liverpool again. You have to look at Liverpool. Sadio Mane. Their attack is potent. Their pressing game should be pretty lively, following a long break. The break should help Liverpool in terms of their stamina and their lack of fatigue almost. Everton, if they pull the upset, massive win for them, but it really only delays the inevitable in terms of Liverpool winning the title. Everton, maybe you look at kind of just how they set up. That probably 4-4-2, probably sit back, counterattack, let Liverpool have the ball, try and stop Liverpool from having real shots, real chances, and maybe you can get a result. But Liverpool's quality will likely shine through in this game. It would be here, but it's not.
Well, that's it for this week. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube cast. Also, let us know what you think of the new set. We'll be back